Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Thank you for tuning into another video. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. So, in today's video, we've got some big news from Ford. Ford F-150 is going electric for the 2022 model year, and this was revealed just now. Ford F-150 has been out for 14 generations. The recent generation was actually started just in 2021, so just a year after. Ford is coming up with the F-150 electric version called the Lightning. And can you believe Ford F-150 has been out for this long? Now let's dive right into the specs and price. Now the all-new F-150 Lightning is going to be available with the standard range and an extended range battery pack, which is kind of expected for this kind of segment. So with the standard range, you are looking at 230-mile EPA estimate rate range, while the extended range battery is going to have about 300 miles of range, which if I have to say is pretty impressive given that the truck is very heavy, and normally the more weight you put and everything, you don't get that kind of range. So for a full-size truck to be able to get that kind of range out of an electric motor, that is pretty impressive. Now as far as the power numbers, you are looking at 426 horsepower with the standard range and 563 horsepower with the extended range battery. All F-150 Lightnings are going to come with the dual motor setup with the all-wheel drive. Now check this out, both configurations of the batteries are going to have 775 pound-feet of torque, which is 205 more than the F-150's new power boost hybrid V6 that is currently there. I think that's pretty insane to be able to have a Ford F-150 Lightning making 563 horsepower and 775 foot-pound of torque. Now the 0 to 60 with all that is going to come in mid 4-second range, which again I think is very impressive for a heavy truck. Now just to compare that with the F-150 Raptor, those were hitting the 0 to 60 in about 4.9 seconds. This is going to have a lot more horsepower, a lot more torque, and it's going to be much faster. Again, yes, I understand it's not the traditional V8 F-150, but this is where the world is heading, and you've got a truck that is completely electric, faster than the V8 powered ones, and it's just insane what range that can get you, and you won't even have to spend a single penny on gas. Now you may be wondering how much all of that is going to cost. Well, the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning is going to start just a bit below $40,000 MSRP, and as you can see from the screenshot, they're going to be going spec'd out all the way up to $90,000, which to me is a little bit insane that you have a 6-figure truck, but with the technology and the specs that you're getting at that price, I bet it's going to be worth it. And of course, you've got your mid-level F-150 Lightning that is going to be $53,000 MSRP, and that does not include any of the government tax rebates for getting the electric vehicle. So with those factored in, you can get a lot more bang for your buck. And of course, you can reserve yours today for only $100. Now I should say that I'm not entirely surprised with Ford's decision to make F-150 electric, because as we know with the Mustang, they took the Mustang's nameplate and took it to Mustang Mach-E, which unfortunately is an SUV, but at least in this case, Ford did not mess up and kept the proper heritage. With all the strict regulations, most of the car manufacturers are going with the electric or hybrid route. Electric route being very common than what it used to be. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in 10-15 years, all the new cars you can buy are going to be fully electric, and you can't buy new cars that would be powered by gasoline. But I'm just a regular guy, so I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. I would love to keep all these V8 powered muscle cars and trucks. I think they just sound phenomenal. Once you start downsizing, start removing the noise by going full electric, it just doesn't have the same feel. Yes, electric cars are very fast, but the sound is a big part of the experience, and I feel like you just lose that with electric cars. Numbers aren't everything. Now, as mentioned earlier, Ford revived their Lightning nameplate for the F-150 electric vehicle. This is actually very fitting than the Mustang Mach-E, which was a Mustang logo, but an SUV and electric. It doesn't make any sense. With Ford F-150, they decided to use the Lightning nameplate because it was something popular with the enthusiasts. They took that nameplate, plastered into F-150, and if you really think about it, it's very fitting. Lightning electric, you know, it just makes sense. If you didn't know what Lightning F-150 was, so before there was any Raptors, Ford utilized back in like 2004 or something, where they used a 5.4 liter V8 engine, which was pretty much their, you know, run-of-the-mill engine, but beefed up by SVT team, making 380 horsepower. Now I know in today's world 380 horsepower isn't all that crazy, but back then Cobras were making 390 horsepower, so you had a truck making as much power as a Mustang Cobra, which was insane. So they decided to use that nameplate because it has some following and revive it as a Ford Lightning, which would be the electric truck. I personally think it's a much better idea than what Ford ended up doing with the Mustang, because Mustang, yes, it has a lot of heritage and brand recognition, but when you kind of take the Mustang name, it's associated with a two-door V8 coupe, you know, just rugged, rough, and all that stuff. When you make it into an SUV and call it a Mustang Mach-E, I just don't think it sit well with anyone, any of the Mustang enthusiasts. I can totally see why Ford did it, to compete with Tesla, and it is hopefully going to pay off so we can kind of keep cars like this here. But at the same time, I just don't think it was right idea to make it an SUV. Now, if Mustang does go electric, which I won't be surprised if it does, it's fine to call it Mustang Mach-E or Mustang e-tron or something like that. It'll be very fitting, at least if it's a two-door coupe, just with an electric motor. That's fine with me, but calling it an SUV a Mustang? Anyways, so comment below what your thoughts are on the Ford F-150 Lightning as a 2022 model year. Do you think Ford is right where they're just taking the electric cars and they're taking the whole concept, applying it to the trucks? Or do you still miss your V8 powered Coyote engines on your truck? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Red 50 so you don't miss out on future videos.